Welcome to Get Savvy, the podcast for people who want to claim back their time through the power of delegation, productivity, and automation. This is the first in our AI Takeover Series. From automating mundane tasks to editing photos, AI is popping up everywhere and becoming an indispensable tool for many businesses. And it's really important in this day and age to get on board so that you can stay competitive. So in this episode, we're delving into the common tasks in your business that can be undertaken by AI and give you some more ideas on how you can actually leverage AI for yourself.
Yeah. Before we get into the series, let's have a chat about the brand new release of ChatGPT 4.0.
Yes. So that's come out since we last recorded, and it's amazing. I mean, even the free users now are getting access to all of the new capabilities that are coming out. Well, most of them, I should say.
Yeah, I feel like that's the biggest news of like right now is that it's now free for everyone. Yes, there's still limited number of prompts, limited number of voices on the app that you can choose from. But I think that OpenAI really had no option than to make it free for everyone, because I don't know if you've seen, but Meta AI has come out and it is completely free. It doesn't have as many features as ChatGPT, but obviously they are going to be bringing out a whole bunch more features. So these companies are all fighting to be the one that has the users using their tool. So thanks, Meta AI, you have now created some amazing competition that allows you as an everyday business owner to be able to use ChatGPT for free. So if you're not on board yet with using ChatGPT,
no excuses.
It's literally no excuse now. You do not even need to pull money out of your bank account and pay each month. It is completely free. So at least start using the free version. Now, if you've got premium, should you keep premium? Well, I am, because I use ChatGPT so much that I would run out of prompts really quickly. And I also have my special voice for my Felix AI that I would want to keep. But no, jokes aside, if you've got the premium, I feel like they're going to bring out a whole bunch more premium features that won't be available to free users. So I would hang on to it.
Yeah, and a lot of the custom GPTs are not available to the free users either. So if you're using any of those, especially the like image generating ones, then you'll need the paid version for those.
Cool. Yeah. So let's explain what the GPTs are in case this is the first episode that you are listening to of ours. So the GPTs, think of them kind of like apps in an app store that you can use inside ChatGPT. They're kind of pre-trained specialist versions of ChatGPT. They've been given a whole lot of information and kind of trained to do something in a certain way. So amazing for generating images. There are ones for anything that you could possibly imagine. Copywriting, SEO, writing a homepage, copy.
Tech help.
Tech support.
Plant support, if that's what you need.
Plant support, like here's my dying plant. What the hell am I going to do with it? Yeah. So GPT for every possible thing that you can imagine.
Yeah. So ChatGPT 4.0 is also the release of the multimodal versions of ChatGPT as well. And now not all of the features are released yet. They are coming in a few weeks. OpenAI have said they haven't, as far as I'm aware, specified an actual date, but that is going to be an even bigger step forward as well, with actual live intaking of its surroundings. So you'll be able to video call ChatGPT and actually have a conversation with it, and it can see everything.
That is going to be awesome. You can also, coming soon, be able to upload audio and video as well. But currently on the version free for everyone, you can upload documents, photos, screenshots, spreadsheets. So you can actually provide it, PDFs, a whole lot of information so that you're not having to write out the prompt completely, and you can actually just say, reference the information in here. And we're going to go through some examples in this first series where we're going to talk about some administrative tasks, and in there we're going to give you some examples about how you can use the multimodal option.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so at the moment on the ChatGPT app as well, something we haven't talked about before is you can actually talk to it and have a conversation with it still. And then what it does with that conversation is it transcribes all of it. So you can still pick it up later and copy the text if that's what you want to do. But it does already have a voice if you're talking to it on the app. So we just wanted to quickly demonstrate that for you. As Jo has said, hers is called Felix. Mine is called Max. So let's see how Max is doing today. Hi, Max. How's your day going?
Thanks for asking. My day is going great. How about yours?
Good, thank you. Cool.
So as you can see, that is quite fast in terms of it being able to respond to you and feel like an actual conversation. And so you can ask it whatever you would normally prompt it in, typing into it, you can actually talk to it, which is going to speed things up for you. If you can talk faster than you can type, which I'm pretty sure everyone can, I think that that's a great option for anyone wanting to use ChatGPT to get some answers and actually just talk out your prompt. I think it's going to be much faster.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, let's get cracking into our first in the series on this AI takeover and run through some of these administrative tasks, because admin tasks are one of the most immediate impacts when it comes to AI. So these are often your repetitive tasks, potentially quite time consuming as well, yet of course they're essential for actually running your business. So the first one that we want to talk about in the administrative realm is email management, because AI-based email sorting systems are something that are going to be really, really handy. That, again, is one of those time-consuming things. So even just by helping you archive irrelevant emails that are clogging up your inbox and starting to categorize some of those emails that are coming in so that you aren't having to manually do all of those little steps is going to speed things up a lot.
Yeah. Reading through all your emails and prioritizing the ones, kind of bringing them up to the top of your inbox to grab your attention, bring them to your attention. I feel like that's going to be really key, is that prioritizing those really important emails, things that need a very urgent reply or a quick turnaround, or, are from a key client or a supplier or something like that. The system being able to bring those to your attention so that you don't have to scan through your entire inbox and kind of sort. I feel like AI can absolutely do a great job on the sorting. Of course, it's not going to be perfect straight away, so just bear that in mind. But I feel like it's going to do much of the heavy lifting for you, and it's only going to get better.
Yeah. And I assume it will be learning based on your actions as well. So the type of emails that you're responding to quickly or at all, it'll probably start learning that and know which ones you're actually wanting to have at the top of your list. One of the other big things that it will be able to do, or already can do, I should say, in terms of email management, is actually helping you draft responses to emails. So you never ever have to start an email from scratch again. And honestly, even just having a starting point is so helpful sometimes. And then from there, of course, you can change it a little bit, personalize it to yourself. But even then, it's still learning your own tone of voice. And so it's getting really good at that too. But having that starting point, very helpful, so that you're not spending a bunch of time trying to figure out how you should lay it out. So Google's Gemini and Microsoft's Copilot are actually integrated with their native email platforms. Unlike when you're using ChatGPT, then you're going to have to prompt ChatGPT, obviously, and then copy and paste that into your email. So if you're doing that a lot, then that time could potentially add up, whereas the ones that are actually integrated with their native email apps potentially are a bit faster for you. But we did want to touch on the price points of both Gemini and Copilot.
Yeah, I feel like they're priced at a point where you really have to utilize them, and it needs to be saving you a whole bunch of time, especially if you think about how many team members you've got in your organization. If you've got a Gemini or a Copilot subscription for each of your team members, you really have to have a full integration strategy for utilizing the tools, because it's a lot of extra per month. And if your team members aren't using them, if they're not collaborating together, if you don't have some kind of plan about how you will all use them together, then I think you could waste a lot of money. So I think it's a great idea to get these in place and to have a plan for how your entire team is going to use them, or even if it's just you, how you are going to use it to make it really worth it.
Yeah. So Gemini and Copilot are extra costs on top of your Google Workspace and Microsoft 365 subscription. So I think there is a little bit of, I guess, people being unsure out there if they are included, but they are not. It is an extra cost on top of that subscription already. So Gemini comes in at 30 New Zealand dollars per month per user, and Copilot comes in at 48 New Zealand dollars per user per month. So yeah, you really have to consider that price point, especially at the moment, like we've just talked about with ChatGPT 4.0 being out. If you can use that and start getting a feel for how much you're using it and how you could be using it to start with as you get really familiar, and then look into whether it is worth it to switch over to the one native with whatever platform you're using, and do a bit of research into the different things that it can do and integrate with in those apps for you to make sure that it is worth it for you and your team. Because $48 in Copilot plus the subscription per team member will add up so quickly.
Yeah. So you got to think about, like, okay, if it's $48, how can we save at least $48 worth of time? Yeah. And then what are we going to actually switch that time into? The saved time, what can we do that's going to earn more than the $48? So this is why having that plan and that strategy about how you're actually going to use it and how you're going to teach your team members what you're going to kind of require them to do and how they are going to get up to speed, because this is all very new, and humans, don't necessarily like change, and it's a whole new working style that they will need to kind of undertake to actually use these tools. So consider that, make it an entire plan that you have when you do integrate it into your business. But I think, in the coming months, this is going to be key for being really productive in your business and really making sure that your team members are doing high level, high quality work and the stuff that the AI can't do yet.
Yeah. And when you put it like that as well, thinking about $48 per user per month and saving that time, that shouldn't be technically too hard to do. Say if you're charging $100 a month, then that's half an hour a month that you want to be at least trying to save that time with. So if you're looking at it like that and trying to use it for as many things as possible, then you will make your money back on it. So yes, it does seem expensive, but could absolutely be worth it.
Okay, let's move on to, so we've done email, let's move on to something like client onboarding. So your new clients are signing up with you in your business. And if you used a tool, something like Zapier, and integrated it with ChatGPT, then you could absolutely automate quite a lot of your onboarding process. And this is something that we have just recently done at Strictly Savvy. We have completely mapped out our full on, all the way from getting a lead all the way to a client then exiting once they have finished with us. So mapping that entire process out and then finding all the opportunities that we could to create automation in that process. So let's go through a bit of an example to kind of get you thinking about your own process and what you do when your clients are onboarded and where the opportunities are to automate some things. So what you could do is set up a trigger. This is the thing that kind of sets off all of the actions after it. So the trigger inside your automation tool could be that when a client signs a proposal, then it sets off these actions. So the actions could then be, one could be sending a notification message to Slack or whatever your communication channel is, letting you know that there is a new client who's signed up. It could then add the new client as a contact in your accounting software, say Xero, and it could also create an invoice for that client and potentially send it if it is a standard kind of invoice. You could also then set up a project in your task management tool. You could set up a project in if you time track in your time tracking tool. It could enter the client's name and a bunch of details from the proposal into a spreadsheet, maybe that you track your conversion rate in. It could draft a personalized email, and this is where the ChatGPT integration could come in, where it actually knows some background about this client based on the proposal or other places that it could find this information, and actually create a draft personalized email that welcomes the client on board, providing them with the next steps. It could then send the link to them to book their onboarding call with you. And all of that could happen in a matter of minutes, if not seconds.
Yeah. So that's a multi-step zap, correct? Yes. So taking it that step further than some of these other examples that we've given that are just a sort of one-off thing.
Yeah.
How much time is that saving us? Like, it's actually crazy to think about how, especially the amount of clients that we do onboard. Every time that happens, that is saving us time and in turn money.
And something else to think about too is that, you might be thinking, oh, but I don't want that to happen in seconds, because then they'll know that it's not a personalized email. Well, the tools are so clever that you can actually put in a delay. So you could delay that personalized welcome email like 20 minutes or 30 minutes or something like that, so that it's not so obvious that it's an automated tool and it feels more personalized, like a person has actually written it. So,
yeah. Awesome. Our next one is recruitment, because again, AI, it can take documents now and actually scan them. So this is something I tested out a couple of weeks ago. I popped in the job ad, and then I popped in some of the requirements that I was really keen to make sure the ideal applicant did have. And then I uploaded into ChatGPT a bunch of CVs and asked it to provide me a summary of the top 3 applicants, single out the top number 1 applicant as well, and give me a bit of a summary on why. ChatGPT did that, scanned the job ad, scanned all of their CVs, and then it did provide me a summary on those top 3 and why it had picked them as the top applicants. However, there was one thing in the top applicant that it had just completely made up, that she had experience in a role that was not listed on her CV at all. So I still made sure I went and checked against the CVs that came out as the top applicants that they did really have all of the things ChatGPT was telling me they did. And I found out that that experience was not there. So I went back and I told ChatGPT, hey, this was actually not on her CV. And then it apologized to me and said, you're right, she does not. So you do still have to check for things like that. And it's something that we'll keep reminding you. AI hallucinations are a real thing, and it will make things up from time to time, and can even do that when it comes to things out on the internet. If it gives you those reference links, you still need to check them. You can't just take ChatGPT's word for it.
Yeah. And I think being doubly careful in your prompts too about it. Please only complete this task based on the uploaded information, or, think about, like, do you actually want it to give you its opinion or actually only facts from a document? So just learn how to prompt really well, I think, is the key thing. And then always check, like Teesha did, which was very diligent of you, Teesha, not just assuming that it's given you the correct information, because it does. It hallucinates. It thinks that it's right. It doesn't even know that it's doing it. It's just making some assumptions and making some stuff up.
Yep. And do tell it off, or tell it that it's wrong, because it is always learning and it does need feedback, just like any other team member. So do think of it like a team member as well.
Yeah. That's a great one, but completely streamlining that recruitment process, because sometimes you have a job ad out and you get 100 applicants. It takes a lot of time to actually sort through those, and most of them will not be even options for you. They're just like completely like not
compatible.
Not compatible.
Even if it just narrowed it down a little bit, so if there's one must-have requirement, then if you chuck in a bunch of CVs, it still saves you scanning through each of them, opening up all of those files, and so then you can narrow it down a little bit more to the ones you actually know at least have that minimum, and then you can start sorting through those even further. It's still going to save you some time.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to bookkeeping. This is something that we are watching carefully, because we as bookkeepers are very keen to know what the accounting softwares are going to bring out and what the opportunities are for us to use AI in bookkeeping. So one of the ones that we have seen that's coming out soon, so Xero has hinted that they are bringing out something called JAX. So that stands for Just Ask Xero. And JAX is going to be their integrated AI inside their accounting software. They've done a bit of a demo video that has a disclaimer that says, like, some of these features may not be exactly what comes out in the final version. So they're kind of just putting it out there that they are thinking about it, and they are currently developing and seeing what they can create. So what it showed in that video is that with the app on the phone, it looks like you could talk to the Xero app and ask it to create an invoice or edit a quote or send something or draft an invoice. So being able to talk to it like it's your assistant, your accounting assistant, your bookkeeping assistant, to create and send and edit things. I think that is awesome. That would be an amazing feature for many business owners, to be able to quickly do that without kind of stopping what they're doing. Just, hey, can you do this? While I think they showed like a florist, the florist was still working as a florist doing the flowers, but she was talking to the app, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, it showed an example as well of tradies on site when their client was asking for an addition or a change to something, which will also be a really handy feature to have, so that people can just do that and it's instant, if that is one of the real features that comes out. That will speed things up a lot and save them going home at night and being like, oh, what was that conversation I had with my client, and adding it after the fact. So I think this is one to watch, because I can see a lot of use cases for a tool like that being able to be your bookkeeping assistant. Yeah, absolutely. So we will continue to keep you updated on that front. And That is it for this episode of the Get Savvy podcast. If you want help setting these up in your business, head over to strictlysavvy.co.nz. And next time we will be discussing the tools in terms of the customer service realm. So remember to rate, review, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode of the Get Savvy podcast.